Hi, my name is Steve Turner, and it's February 16th, 2021. I'm about to start on a journey that's a little bit out of my comfort zone, to say the least. At my age, maybe I should expect that, but I don't like to use age as an excuse for not doing things. It is something I've both needed and wanted to do for quite a while. Although the journey will both be difficult and personal, I'm hoping my situation will perhaps resonate with some of you who are perhaps in a similar place in your own life. Since I've never created a YouTube channel, it kind of goes without saying that, technically speaking at least, I'm starting out not knowing what the heck I'm doing. I've never attempted to make, edit, or upload a video of any kind, and that's probably obvious to those of you who are YouTube veterans. But guess what? Here goes. Since you're watching this, I guess I did succeed in making at least one. I will say this about myself. Although now a senior, I've never really been afraid of computers or other modern technology. So I'm probably a bit more tech savvy than I give myself credit for. Like a lot of people, especially in America, I've struggled with excess weight and bad eating habits my entire adult life, beginning at the age of 18. You can obviously see that. At that age, I was pretty normal for someone my height, 5'11", 175 pounds. But I soon began gaining weight and eventually went on to weigh as much as 389 pounds by early 2004. By that time, I was so frustrated with myself, I decided to undergo a drastic weight loss surgery called Roux-en-Y. If you're familiar with the different kinds of bariatric surgery, you'll recognize that one as perhaps the most drastic. It worked out well for a time because I got down to as low as 236 pounds within fairly short order. But the problem with that kind of surgery, other than its potential side effects, is that if you're not completely committed to changing your eating habits after the surgery, the weight can and will come back. As you can see with me, that warning was prophetic. Within just a few years of the surgery, my weight went right back up to as high as 300. Thankfully, it didn't go beyond that, but gaining that much weight, rather than continuing to lose until reaching my goal, has been very discouraging, especially considering that I should weigh somewhere in the neighborhood of 155 to 170 for my height and age. I've actually shrunk 2 inches since graduating from high school, so now I'm only 5'9". As I said, the surgery can lead to complications later on, many of which I've suffered. The next thing I need to say is that I'm under no illusion that simply changing the way one eats is a ticket to a 20-year-old body in perfect health. Wow, wouldn't that be nice? We all age, and eating perfectly won't change that, nor will it completely reverse the damage done by eating poorly over a lifetime. Physically speaking, we're all products of 3 things, as I see it: aging, genetics, and what we eat. We have little control over the aging process or genetics, but what we do have control over is what we eat and in what amounts. Sometime in early 2016, I stumbled upon a website entitled discoveringthewordofwisdom.com. The creator of that website is a woman by the name of Jane Birch of Provo, Utah. Anyone familiar with the teachings of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints will instantly make the connection to the title of the website. She wrote a book by the same name, and I encourage you to read it if you haven't done so already. She also has a couple of Facebook pages devoted to the subject. In a nutshell, Jane, like many of us, had struggled mightily with the standard American diet, often referred to appropriately as by its SAD acronym, when she discovered the works and teachings of a couple of doctors, one a physician and surgeon, and the other a PhD. The physician is Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn, formerly of the Cleveland Clinic, and the PhD is Dr. T. Colin Campbell, a nutritional biochemist. Their research and testing led them to the belief that many major American illnesses can be eliminated or at least mitigated by changing to a diet of whole foods that are plant-based. In other words, eliminating the consumption of meat and dairy products, at least for the most part. Many of their findings were based on studying the diets of other cultures around the world, where there is much less disease of the kind we suffer from here in the United States. Both men are featured in a documentary entitled Forks Over Knives, which you may have heard of and is available on Netflix, as well as other outlets, I'm sure. Since watching that movie, reading Jane's book, and witnessing many testimonials from individuals on her 2 Facebook pages, I've become convinced that this way of eating is the way to go, or at least worth trying, for optimum health. I'm guessing that some of you have been to one or both of her Facebook pages because I did announce there that I was going to start this channel. It should also be noted here that there are many other professionals and non-professionals alike who advocate this way of eating, including one former president of the United States, Bill Clinton. I have no intention of trying to convince anyone that eating this way is the answer to all health problems, because I'm sure it isn't. What I am attempting to do, though, is reach out to those who are already convinced, like me, that eating a whole foods, plant-based diet may eliminate many, if not most, of those health concerns and enhance one's quality of life, even as we age. I feel like I've postponed this journey long enough. After all, I'm 73. And I'd like to invite those of you, particularly of my own age group, to accompany me along the way. And in fact, I've named the channel WFPB for Seniors. So you might ask, why at my age am I creating a YouTube channel subjecting myself to being seen in my poor physical condition by who knows how many people, when I should be embarrassed for anyone to see me, let alone a TV audience? The answer is actually quite simple. Even though I haven't been 100% successful in converting to this way of eating, I really do believe in the concept and would like to share my successes and failures with others as I make one more serious attempt to change my eating patterns, and if successful, perhaps influence others to do the same. And if only one other person is positively affected by what happens on this channel, then whatever effort it takes on my part will be worth it. And let's face it, what better way to stay accountable than to make a regular video displaying one's triumphs and failures? It'll be kind of like attending a mass diet club meeting where everyone can see your progress or lack thereof. I presently weigh 290 pounds, which, needless to say, is way too much weight on anyone who is 5'9", let alone someone at my age with the health issues I have. I'm going to detail some of these issues as I start this journey, not because I want anyone to feel sorry for me on the one hand, or condemn me on the other for the way I've lived my life up until now. My Heavenly Father knows of my weaknesses and strengths, trials and tribulations. I'm only trying to please him and me, no one else. As previously mentioned, I've been overweight since being a very young man. There are many reasons, but what first comes to mind is this: fast food. I do know this. If I had invested in some of the fast food restaurants I've patronized over the years, I'd undoubtedly be a very wealthy man today. Can any of you relate? Overeating all those years led to several present-day issues, over and above my weight problem. Oh my, where do I start? The first thing I'm thinking of is the onset of type 2 diabetes just before having the gastric bypass surgery. Actually, one of the good things that came from the surgery was that it halted the diabetes in its tracks. And to this day, I have no trouble with my sugar levels. But, as you may imagine, there have been lots of other health problems, many of which can be traced to overeating, eating the wrong things, and obesity. Because of the changed internal plumbing, if you will, by the gastric bypass, I developed scar tissue that gradually cut off my digestive tract and resulted in a hospitalization in early 2017 for a small bowel resection, meaning they had to take out part of the small intestine and reconnect the two ends so the nourishment could pass through again. From that surgery, I developed a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in the lung, and congestive heart failure, resulting in the need for a pacemaker and defibrillator, both of which I've had since April of 2018. Since then, I've had 3 episodes of sepsis blood disease because of an infection in one of my kidneys in and around some kidney stones. I've had 2 hospitalizations for gallbladder issues, finally resulting in its removal. Then I had 2 more hospitalizations for massive loss of blood due to an undiagnosed ulcer, for which there were no symptoms except for a dark stool. I lost so much blood that they almost lost me. I required a total of 13 units of blood while I was in the hospital to replace what I had lost. In 2020 alone, I was hospitalized 4 times during the worst of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's a miracle I didn't catch it, which probably would have been a death sentence at my age. Other conditions I have or have had, which may or may not have anything to do with diet or overeating, include fairly severe osteoarthritis, especially in the lower back, requiring a lot of pain medication, sleep apnea, which I've had since 1996, vision problems, including partial retinal detachments and cataracts, neuropathy of my feet, nail fungus, tinnitus or ringing in the ears, an enlarged prostate, which causes several urological difficulties, some of which I don't even want to talk about, and the loss of my singing voice. During this journey with you, I want to monitor several things in addition to my weight. I'm anxious to see what changes there will be in my energy levels and stamina, especially as it relates to walking and swimming, which is my exercise of choice. I also have lower leg edema as a result of the heart failure and occasional dizziness. And I would very much love for my singing voice to return because I do love to sing. Obviously, many of these things are the result of the natural aging process, but it will still be interesting to see what effects a change in eating habits might cause. That is, of course, if I'm successful in doing it. As we go along, I'm hoping I can get your input and ideas, especially when it comes to food suggestions and meal preparation. I'm not really much of a cook, so I'm hoping to get some input from you to help me with that. I can follow recipes, okay, but I'm not the type, like many good cooks I know, who can just throw things together without measuring the ingredients. So here's how I envision things to go with this channel. I'm going to try my best to make a video at least once each week showing you my progress, letting you know how much weight I've lost or gained, and sharing with you my experiences and thoughts. At this point, I can't see the need for doing it any more often than that, but I'll keep my options open depending on how things go and what you guys think. After all, I'm hoping that you'll become part of a little community to go along with me on this journey. I'll definitely be open for suggestions, and we'll both want and appreciate your viewpoints, whether they be positive or negative. So I guess that's about it for this opening video. If you like what I'm doing and would be interested in following along, please hit both the subscribe button below and the bell that pops up to the right of it so you can be notified whenever a video is uploaded. Also, please tell anyone about the channel who might be interested, whether they be a friend, relative, business associate, or anyone you think could benefit from following my journey and this way of eating. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.